Anyway, before I go to the wahala na weird, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program wey we call colors, as we dey look at different story dem na the front page and inside the newspaper. So no forget to join we on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube, who we go bring to una different guests dem wey dey can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala na we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program wey we call colors, as we dey look at different story dem na the front page and inside the newspaper. So no forget to join we on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube, who we go bring to una different guests dem wey dey can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala na we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of a program where we call Colors. Right on we are on YouTube and on Facebook, so we can discuss issues them where they come from the front page of the different newspaper them, of course. And after we can now look at the story them inside from the front page of the newspaper, then we can count people them we can come and discuss the issue today. We get two people them where of course the founder or the person where na in set up and the one where they presently. So people them from the office of the first lady, the former first lady, and this present first lady, where they can talk about issues we get for do with the office of the first lady, we get for do with the front page of the newspaper. But hey, we not spend so much time on the office of the first lady because none of the newspaper they not carry out. But we will get for talk about that because the two people that we get come out from that office day, from the former regime and from this present regime. So of course, stay with me. We'll get a lot of things them for you inside the program this morning. So we don't waste time. We first time we go now for look at the different newspaper them waiting then get inside the fourth page. We come out from today edition of the different tablet them or tabloid, how they can call them. I don't know, maybe not tabloid, maybe not tablet anyway. So we go now straight off and start for see waiting we get. Okay, let me see what we get. I'll start from this part of them. Okay, so we start with the first paper inside the program this morning. We now the Camboy Times. The Camboy Times, where you get a very big banner headline where it's scattered on the paper. So let me see what we get. Camboy Times say, let me just move myself the first and see what we can get. Alright. So the Camboy Times get this big banner headline where say APC, una feel say na una no more born Salomba. Then you get SLPP and APC MPs set to take oath. This is from the Camboy Times. And then the next paper where we get na the Calabash newspaper, it say despite 13 challenges President Bio road transformation agenda crystallized into impressive realities by Pavi Fort. And news quick count result needs questioning. Dr. Adams B. Stephen, Assat. And then you get this other one, we say judiciary resist cynical attempt by APC leadership to politicize its operations. Chinese president congratulates re-election of President Bio. High Court dismisses APC lawsuits against ECSL and other payments of legal costs. The next one, now the Compass newspaper, we say as all elected officials endorse party stance, APC cripples SLPP. President Bio damns agents of chaos. The next paper, now the Voice of Salone, we say President Bio clears his backyard and set to drop another bombshell. And then you get FIFA provides 10,000 football to schools in Sierra Leone. And APC judiciary at daggers drawn. And you get Chinese president congratulate Bio on his re-election as Sierra Leonean president. New quick count should be questioned, and Justice Fisher orders APC to pay, wasted cost. The next paper on Modern Seas, we say Salon Embassy in Dakar secure release of 11 compatriots. Judiciary dismisses APC allegation, and the NMA, SLRA, and RSLA visit dangerous drainage at Beckles streets. And Women's Forum congratulates President Bio for a deserving re-election. Don Bosco fumble to train youth on plastic recycling. The next paper, now the Salon Times, we say, despite 54 members of parliament plan to boycott, President Bio directs clerk to convey parliament. And they congratulate Bio on re-election as Sierra Leone president. ACC commissioner signed MOU with the integrity vice president of the World Bank. The next one at the Open Space newspaper, we say Cornelius DeVoe writes on APC defeats at June 24th polls. And then you get Women Forum hail President Bio for gender equality and empowerment bill. And then new create mischief and mislead citizen. President Bio massive support for NASIT DG. The next paper at daybreak we say as President Bio set to appoint new phases, panic grips SLPP ministers, ? Over new credibility. An Independent Media Commission observation report on media coverage and reporting of the June 24th, 2023 multi-tier election. The next paper, now the Heritage, will say Uganda president congratulate HEBO. New fierce APC defiance to assert defeat. The next paper, now the Independent Observer, will say Parliament to convene July 14. No case of political nature in court since 2018, says the judiciary. A female camera operator tells her story working in the country. The next one, now Africa 24, we say as APC stand firm, 53 appended, but Mohamed Bangura abstained. Parliament in a nightmare. New failed APC's defense to accept defeat. President Bio road transformation agenda crystallized into impressive realities by Pavi Fourth. And the next paper, now New Times Daily, we say as first family wins re-election, women, girls look forward to Fatima Bio fresh plan. Great, I'm glad that this thing come up. Okay, so we get world leaders pledge support to President Bio and death trap at Wellington. 2,000 farmers ready for President Bio's food revolution. The next paper, now the Night Watch, we say don't trust Bio. Strasser once years back. Ahead of sanctions, Bio's government crumbles. The next paper, okay, I think that is paper that this will get inside the program this morning. We can look into all of the issues there, so good one. For that we see how best we can actually put 1 to 2 and we guess them for come inside the program today. Well, we guessed them already. We don't need to go and take any break. Let's just go straight off and see how best we can bring the guests them inside for that we discuss the different issues them, because one of the guests actually one for take, not get for take long with me because it gets other pressing engagements them. So I will actually start with that particular one day for introduce them. Well, this person one of the brain behind the office of the First Lady. In name that titles Boy Thompson, and he don't work several times or plenty year under the last regime, and now it look at issues them we get for do and how it analyze different things them in the country and out of the country. And the next person again, a person within at the office of the president, sorry, the First Lady. Okay, yes, alright. Office of the president and office of the First Lady and Ministry of Lands. Of course, it did like everywhere in one of the polymoth them for this government. And in name now Abdul Fonti Kabia will join me inside the program this morning. So gentlemen, welcome to the program. Please unmute on the mic and let us start the ball rolling quick one. Yes, let's go.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes. Good morning, Kores, and good morning to you, Sengbe Pierre, and of course, good morning to me, big brother Titus Boy Thompson.
All right.
Good morning, Kores. Agu Abdul Fonti. I've always heard and read of his work, but first time I'm seeing him. Looks like what we call a likely chap in England. Good morning, Sengbe Pierre.
Okay, so
good morning to everyone listening.
I'm glad that today because you been on day and in day, and then we can get one civil discussion, quick one. Interestingly, I see one thing we are happy about because I've been telling people and say none of the people they not talk about the office of the First Lady, but interestingly, towards the end I find out say the News Times Daily talk about so we start with that ball rolling day, and since we waiting, let's just take for the sake of time management, we want for the time we save quick one so we will get the time for each other and we treat everybody equally. So at a set time and then we start for go. Okay. Let me see stopwatch. Okay, good. So and we start with the first thing. Mr. Titus, what is the idea behind the office of the First Lady? Why una been decide for set up that particular office there for see how it go be as a formal office?
Well, then they would then strategic position day before. Always talk say the First Lady now which you call soft power, because she has a direct influence of the presidency, and she can get the presidency to listen to issues the way probably ministers are not going for tackle or way too insensitive for them to deal with. So you get First Ladies that can always tackle the issues that we know to particularly government policy issues, but are issues that we touch on basic humanities. Like Koroma been touch on the issues of maternal mortality, infant deaths, and we look into that very critically. Fatima Bio now they look into protecting the girl child, issues around the Hands of Our Girls initiative and other issues that she has touched on, which I think are good. On the part of where she has done the work that she's focused herself to do in looking at the more tangible issues of supporting people who are vulnerable in society.
Okay, so let's come to you, Abdul Fonti. You see waiting and set them up. And interestingly, I've been listening to one video of Fatima where say the woman in office and at the bedroom. Also, I go for talk to the man, good one, and other things. And so now look at, I basically make reference to that because it's a public video. But I'll go back. Basically, you think say on a day on the right track from the main idea where they set up that particular office there?
Many thanks to you, Sengbe Pierre, and I think say the big brother don't succinctly able to explain to the public as to waiting at the rationale behind the setting up of an office of the First Lady. And we did now a period usai we already don't agree say it's a very significant auxiliary organ of the government, especially of the presidency. And Dr. Fatima Madabi as First Lady of the Republic of Leone, starting from 2018 after the election of retired Brigadier Julius Madabio as president to date, and of course we get to also continue until 2028. I believe say we all don't agree now as a country that this is the best thing we don't ever happen as far as the position or the holder of the office of the First Lady is concerned. And then not because she's a pretty woman, where everybody knows she was a beauty queen and all of the things they did, but now simply because of the activities them way and or embark on, the vision way they behind the office, the milestones them where the office door achieve in a very short time. And where I talk about milestones, I'm not only talking about local milestones, I'm talking about global milestones. You know, you don't do things that we ordinarily will be the thing individual or no office not go able for champion. You don't think up by the woman them in this country way more than any other person don't ever do, whether man or woman. You don't think up by the picking them in this country also way more than any one single individual don't ever do. So in generally I would say yes, 100%. There is no doubt, and I don't feel say the world the doubt say Dr. Fatima Bio has been on track since 2018 to date with regards to the affairs of the office of the First Lady.
Okay, so I'm not begin time on it. Maybe I go begin start on now. So now I don't know why I forget it. All right, so Mr. Thompson, you know the issue of Fatima and the person we don't do more than any woman don't go do. I hope I get the word right from Fonty. You know, when it comes to the office of the First Lady, waiting now you take on that one. I'll give you 2 minutes for reply.
Well, that Mr. Fonty get for no say. One thing if you understand, those that get power, now they create, now they write history. You write the history according to how you see them for yourself. Koroma did what she had to do under the circumstances and within the resources available. Don't forget, the First Lady can only be effective as much as the presidency and the authority for be effective. Koroma in the condition of Fatima Bio is not the same. Then two not the same. The approaches of the two women are not the same. The perception of the two husbands are not the same. Yes, Mother Bio has had occasion for publicly go up the stage and get Fatima Bio for calm down because she's all man will say she's temperamental, maybe hot-tempered, or maybe that she wears a heart on her sleeve. But then this is who she is. She's the kind of person who would go out and say what she wants and do the best she can to get what she wants. Koroma has a different personality. So, and most of the work that Koroma did was work behind the scenes. Take the work of the free medical, for example. We went as far as the G7 meeting in Tokyo to raise support for that, and we raised significant international support for that. We able to give free medical to pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under 5, and then they save a lot of lives. So you look at these things, not to say you compare one to the other, but you have to look at the circumstances and the situation, and then say yes. I would say both of them have achieved. Same with Patricia Kaba, because she was the first one to have brought the First Lady to political tolerance or political proximity, for that matter. Patricia Kaba self doing her own, but then Koroma come and go past them. Now Fatima Bio don't come and say feel saying he do more. Fatima Bio don't move beyond what in the office of First Lady for do and get involved directly in politics, which is also a contentious issue. But then there you go. These are the people who hold power for now. They can do what they want. Koroma cannot go back into that office to do anything. So the way I see it, it's a matter of how long is a piece of string. Both of them have done what they can do. Everybody could do what they will do for the community at the time where they in a position of authority. And I'm happy that the women are doing that.
Okay, thank you. Almost 3 minutes. So let's just stop them again, reset. Abdul Fonty, before I press the timer, this question I ask them to you. And based on maybe waiting me and other salon people and think about the First Lady. But before that, I want to give you my own personal view about her. Fatima Bio, in terms of supporting a man, I think this na person where any man wants for support him in terms of an idea. You always don't do it a man for support him, you know, that day, whether you like him or not like him, he always did it. But at the same time, it gets like making consider for the ORS. You know, it's an ORS in salt and sugar. You know, you get the good side, you get the bad side. The good side now for supporting husband and make sure say it try for pushing husband. for let it go, also it's supposed to go. But the bad side, now maybe the way how it can react to salon people, we make plenty people not they feel in weight because of the way how it can come and react na social media to salon people and before this time and even but when these 2 days look better, but how it normally can address issues them now the social media that they make it get a lot of people them when they ask a question about them. So this na about waiting me think about her and waiting some other salon people think about her. Waiting that you take on that one day.
All right, many thanks to you, and I will use me 3 minutes for respond to both your question and within be the take of me big brother on me assertion that Dr. Fatima Bio has done more for the women and children of this country more than any other person, and now for that make I say any other person because I not be the intent for even try for do comparison between and among the various first ladies the way we don't get because you like me. We all go agree, say they all don't come and they don't play the
and they're all different,
and they're all different, and of course, the big brother Titus Boy Thompson don't put them in a diplomatic way for accept the waiting I say that Fatima Bio has done more than any other first lady because he mentioned 3 things then. One is say the circumstances were different. And the circumstances they didn't talk about availability of resources. Make us start with Dandy. Yes, availability of resources would always be a problem for government institutions because you get a whole lot of institutions and issues them where they compete with the mega resources where we get as a state. But how Fatima Bio different from the other first ladies them and be seem like the other first ladies then be the wait for make the resources available, especially taking into consideration the kind of authority we then get. The president in wealth. So you want to see them and expect, say, the resources go can meet you on a silver platter. And Fatima Bio had been different with regards to that. We don't see how it don't navigate the world for ensure say and get the required resources for do the work way in they do. Because she's also on record to have been the first lady where the support way and don't get from the states, like where they say resources from the consolidated fund in very meager. As compared to waiting in the get for INSEF through fundraising and alliances way in the forge and people and way in the work with and the kind of things they way don't deliver on. So that has been different. In they go out and go fend the money. And somebody where they go out and go fend the money and you are where they sit down and wait for her, you go agree with me, say she's more pushful than the other first ladies than we be done day before. And then we talk about approaches. We go also can answer to your question and with waiting me own big brother we don't talk earlier. We are all human beings. We all different. We all different in we own wisdom. And we expect say the same approach we see Nyama Koroma be the do as first lady or we Madam Patricia Kaba be the take as a first lady. Now the same approach Fatima Bio can take. And in fact it not go make sense. Because if we have had problems,
5 more seconds.
If we have been questioning, say, how come we the people there so now they do more, and then Madam Fatima Bio can take the same approach where they take, I think we not forbid on which
I'll ask you another additional question. This might not be part of the 3 minutes, but I'll ask you this one. But I will still give you 3 minutes for to that particular question. In there. You talk about resources, a very pushful. That is reality. It'll go out and come. But things say. Normally, when money they come to the country, no matter who that they go for the money, and they come for the people of Sierra Leone and on behalf of the people, right? So normally, waiting they happen, all of in job what they do. Now in the Ministry of Social Welfare supposed for do. Now in that of the Ministry of Health, partly supposed for do. So if in they go out, get them funded, it only they stop to in office. We know they see it circulates now other one. We don't make, for example, where they see the office of the First Lady, they get pushed, but the Ministry of Social Welfare lack in waiting than they do. Things say you get this kind of thing where it actually they do well, but it above other people they work for go before.
I would not want to use this platform. I would not want to use this platform for question the outputs of the Ministry of Social Welfare, like how you don't put them. Say the work way the Ministry of Social Welfare is supposed to do, for example, now Dr. Fatima Bio they do. So me, I think say that is supposed to be a credit to Dr. Fatima Bio for do work where whole sector supposed for do. And why you would not want to blame Fatima Bio or not give them the deserved credit on that particular one day is not to the state they give that money there. If the money where the state be supposed for give or allocate to the Ministry of Social Welfare.
Like this and Fonty, the time where Nyama Koroma advocate and get money for let them start the free healthcare. And not handle them at the office of the president alone. It's send them to the Ministry of Social Welfare for let them not be disabled, let themselves able for do the work very, very well. Then it take the back seat a bit and then it do another thing then. But in the case of this one, it gets the funding, it implements and just like office and then the Ministry of Social Welfare not able for work properly rather than in the work of them.
Well, one thing I would say, I don't know that particular instance, who says Nyama Koroma go and go get money and can give the Ministry of Health.
Okay, maybe go in there and can talk about that one day. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know they say it not happen, but I don't know of that instance they who says Nyama Koroma they on record for go spend money.
But you know say na initiative and na the pioneer behind the free healthcare.
No, I don't know that. Except like you they talk for the first time and
no, but you listen to Boy Julius now and they talk about
No, I come. Maybe now some of the credits that they owe for the give people them where we not ever know about as a state. The free healthcare initiative is credited to Ernest by Koroma as a president. We not ever know. Like where you go say, if you talk about free health, free sanitary pads right now, you talk about hands off our girls. All man know now the one who all say na Fatima Bio initiative dandy. If you talk about passing 2 resolutions now the UN for protect women them and picking them, all man at the world know say na Fatima Bio initiative dandy. So this is like news. So I'm not saying not do one, but nobody not seem for no except you where they say I'm today.
Okay,
or
not
maybe
except
a few
me.
other people.
Okay, boy, please come in and tell me whether true I say or not true.
Is that addressed to me?
Yes, please go ahead on the issue of Nyama Koroma and the free healthcare.
This matter, it's on record. Anybody can check out. If you Google, the second largest newspaper in Japan is an English newspaper. The first largest newspaper is the Japanese newspaper. It's called it's a Shinbon. It's called a Shinbon, Natashi Shinbon or whatever it's called. Second largest newspaper in Japan. If you Google that newspaper, you just put the name of Nyama Koroma, you'll see an article on that paper, which I will obviously I set up operations. I mean, I'll be the right man for. See, I want to go understand how that works. And maybe the guide for Nyama. I wrote that article together with the office of the wife of the Prime Minister in England at the time, Sarah Brown, Gordon Brown, and wife. We did a direct appeal to the heads of the G7 countries. So we put that article together. They read that, they made sure they read that newspaper before they went into the meeting. They came out of that meeting and they voted over $6 billion for African Health Initiative. All of this is in not on news. All of this day on what you call on the international. They call on the H4 initiative.
So
African
not only
Health.
first time this will they get. Not only first time this will they get with first lady therefore make an appeal at the international.
Oh yes,
UN
that was the first time. We did much more than that. The thing is, with Koroma in work, she would not be number one. It was not even allowed, as it were, for let the first lady overshadow the presidency. Everything Koroma does, she did under the office of the presidency. And while we were there, every international appeals that we made, we brought in ministry officials, worked with them, take them through. And in most instances, like for example, the free medical, when the results came out that this money has been voted in, then they called Sierra Leone as one of the first, what you call early wins countries for putting low benefit from that program. Now the free medical come up from, because the free medical, in fact, was something that was tested in Botswana before. That was where all of this came from. So that's how we use our advocacy. We're not saying that we go take the money out of their pocket and can't give. We're also talk about we were part of the advocacy that resulted in that opportunity. And when the opportunity came, this was what it was translated to. And by the time they say, okay, what we going to do? This money don't come for Africa health infrastructure. How we going to do one side for putting a project proposal? They came up with free medical initiative, and that was how we did it. We left it now with the presidency for carry on with that.
So in just short question for you, it's like Nyama Koroma, the advocate for free medical go in some parts of the world. Whereas Fatima in advocate for the girl picking them. So likely they will two play their own path.
Oh yes, of course. I take nothing away from Fatima Bio, that she's resourceful, she's energetic. That I give to her. The issue I have with Fatima Bio, now where it look like, say, they do things for rubber in the face of Sierra Leoneans, like say, once na me they do, na me they do, or na me one for do, na me go do this way. If you take the Sierra Leonean women then on board, I think that would have been better. I think for the issue is something that you can fix. People like Fonty, you see, when you get a principal who is that strong, it's difficult for you work because you don't go able for tell her waiting for do. In the case with when I was working with Koroma, if she has to give a speech, until both of us are satisfied that this speech is the right speech to give, it doesn't go out. Because she don't want all net to work on the speech. If she's not happy, she will tell me, Titus, I'm not happy with this speech. I'm not happy with the way you deal with this subject. But until you are ready, then you can forget something where they antagonize anybody, they offend anybody, they cause anybody for feeling say this woman talk against her. So that is how you do things. Okay. You see, but then it's a matter of approach.
Okay, Fonty, let's come with you inside. And this question, directly and indirectly, the address written titles they talk about so right now. Most of the time, when the first lady they come out, they're very energetic, but when they come out, some of the things that we can say can contradict themselves. Like for example, I get 1, 2, 3, 4 video, like they talk about the same issue with different explanation at some point. You're not the communication person. You can actually try for put them together first. Because when you come, the minute when you come out, what you give 9 people you get. And you na leader, and what you say, na like policy something. You can actually mold and find one for see before it come out. It take in TikTok and say something, take in Facebook and say something, you for be satisfied. Like what boy say they do.
All right, Amaka just use the approach of answering to the same to the two issues we una don raise.
Please go ahead.
And on the side of Titus Boy Thompson, I'm glad that he's honest enough for use the word say Sia had been part of the advocacy. Being part of the advocacy and you being the one, not two different things there than they. And like how I tell you, you cannot take away the credit from all of these first ladies that they play their own part. That is not in contention. What is we are discussing here is that Madam Fatima Bio don't do more than how them do them. So she being part of the advocacy for fund the free
I wish you can just hold on a bit because we don't hear you.
Fonty,
you get me?
But
Fonty, you get me?
What I clarify,
hello, Fonty.
What I clarify is that the public sector, yes sir.
You get me?
Yes, I get.
Honestly, your voice not be scrambled, so we go one follow you repeat again. You know what you want to clarify? The public sector continue.
Okay, so I be just the talk say being a part of advocating for make free quality free healthcare happiness alone. Dandy, like how I say earlier, all the first ladies that don't do their own work. What they're supposed to do, nobody know the contest than they. What I said here is that Madam Fatima Bio don't do more than how the other one they did do one. So in terms of advocacy,
so feel free. I will give you time for doing this, but I'll use this opportunity for coming between. You talk about the thing with Fatima pioneer na UN. A work in collaboration with other first lady.
But I'm not even answer the question.
No, you continue. You continue. I just want to make a clarification.
Sorry, the question you asked.
No, you continue. I just want to clarify
questions
something.
Now.
You hear me? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
I just want to clarify. You continue. Get the time for continue. But what did they say? The initiative for say Fatima na pioneer. Yes, but it work in collaboration with other first lady then for able to do that things there. Yes, or in don't join solely in one green.
And work with other first ladies them, I don't understand.
Yes, for let them put together that idea there for able for push with them. Now in take the lead, but it work with other people them. True or false?
Yeah, the United Nations, most definitely. No one person or the can go something. You go lead, but you always get people then behind you. So nobody is saying Fatima be one grain on a United Nations. Nobody has ever said that.
Okay, great.
Nobody.
So continue. Continue. We just want to clarify that one day.
Yeah. So And I be the talk, Titus be the talk about approaches and the political will, and Madam Sia be prefer for them at the background. That's not be own approach. But one thing where you for know, say the public sector not so secret society. There is nothing wrong for make the first lady take up or lead an initiative and then come forward and say, "I me lead this initiative for complement the work we man they do," which Dr. Fatima Bio had always been doing, because not to secret society. So the difference, like how we be also say, maybe Fatima, Madam Sia Koroma, not be get the same luck where Dr. Fatima Bio gets. Usai Fatima Bio gets man where they see him as woman where they complement him.
No,
Whilst,
wait. If you say that, that means say the last first lady man nobody say like woman.
When I there they come, you for don't just wait.
No, but wait, when you say something like when you say something,
with
just
some
the
other
one word, they create another thing.
Say whilst, as I say whilst, now they cut me off because now they be the come.
Yeah, but even with that, but it looks somehow. Come on.
Whilst Madam Sia Nyama Koroma land now. Whilst Madam Sia Nyama Koroma, and based on the indications where they get from Titus Boy Thompson, in woman be seen for the Siam as competition, wherein the woman not for come and take the forefront for make the season and they do the things them way in they do. You know, so there are those problems, and it not only gets for do with matrimonial and president and first lady. There are always those problems in the public sector. Who say some man just wants for be the be all and take all. There is nothing wrong, whether public life or private life or matrimonial home, for make the woman get in own credit when supposed forget. A strong man will see a woman like Fatima Bio as a compliment and not a competition. And we think say if now so the other presidents you don't they see a woman and allow them for get the credit when supposed forget. Because look like this kind of big thing. Website was they talk so today. Free health care, something as big as Sierra Leone. Now, only today, me of all people, they know say Nyama Koroma played a very effective role. So these are the things, and this is not the kind of this is not the kind of narrative where retired brigadier Dr. Mother Bio don't change, and this is not the kind of approach where Dr. Fatima Bio don't change.
Last ask you this question again.
Mr. Sembe, please, let me come in and clarify something.
Okay.
Quickly, not necessarily clarify as much as just touch on it. You see, what I said and what I'm trying to say is clear. As you talk about the public sector get their own culture. Mm-hmm. They go some side way, the public officials or civil servants will support the first lady for do certain things the way they do, then go collaborate with them, then go support them, then go provide information, make sure say get what you want for do and right. You guys one side the way then go stop. The difference with Fatima Bio is Fatima Bio, as I said, did not approach the office of the First Lady in Sierra Leone as a Sierra Leonean, because she's not. She approached it as a foreigner, as a Gambian, to that effect. Not that she might be a Gambian, but she came in with that kind of aura. And because she came in with that kind of aura, a lot of people don't even know who side for put her, how for place her. And then they found out that she was very strong in relation to how she gets to get her own things done. Not all men will do things the same way. There are different types of people in the world. But Nyama Koroma did what she did in her own way, and her temperament is completely different. So comparing the two people is always not going to be the right thing to do. Okay. Comparing the work that they did is not going to be the right thing to do as well, because as I said, the circumstances and the situations are different. The economic circumstances are different. The support structures are different. For example, the hands of our girls, we understand, say, now an initiative of the African Association of First Ladies. Nyama Koroma was very effective in that organization. She was one of the people who had to bring that organization up. We had a conference we went to in US, when US Doctors for Africa, they set up that, and all the First Ladies, practically all the First Ladies in Africa went to that conference, major conference. And a lot of things were done, and a lot of groundwork was set up for Fatima Foka inherit. The same thing for example, when Fatima left and go, the person they get for into that position, they go inherit all of them groundwork where previous First Ladies they don't do. So it is not a matter of comparing the people, the two people who hold the office. I think what we need to look at, let we get a level playing field in the sense that with First Ladies then forget a role when they play, which I think is good as soft power to presidencies. With soft ladies then for be recognized, for play their role. And with First Ladies then say for understand. So the role when they play now the role of a mother. And that role of a mother means mother to the nation, means you don't get for vex for all man, you don't get for agitate anybody, You don't get for put somebody aside, say you are not going to give you rest today because you not pick you up and say you go and bug me tomorrow morning. That is wrong.
Okay.
I think what we need to get
something.
an understanding of what the role is, what we are going to do, and how we are going to do it. It is not a matter of getting points.
Yes, sir.
I'll be asking you a question where you know the answer. You know,
Yes,
with regards to approach, you know, in as much as Madabio actually they give the free hand to Fatima for do all of waiting A1 for do. We're very cool for any man and a woman able for work amicably like that. But you know, I ask you, whose role you can play before Fatima come out and make a statement or say anything? I need for another one day first before I ask you the question I will ask.
Are not they at liberty for discuss the internal operations of the between the office
we
and
respect that one day, but you can sit down
can
and discuss in statements where you want for me.
Ali, Secretary, when you ask question, I feel say you for wait to your answer, and then because maybe the first words they were they use, you not even know say our land until I land before you know waiting at the trial force.
So be clear and waiting.
So like I was say earlier, I'm not at liberty for discuss the modus operandi in the internal modus operandi between the principal and the communications office.
Mm-hmm.
However, waiting I go on for say clearly here is Dr. Fatima Bio is a very listening person.
Okay.
Dr. Fatima Bio consults a lot. Dr. Fatima Bio not just they take mic and begin talk waiting in field for talk. He's a well-measured human being. He's a well-measured professional. Way before in they do or say anything, she's well prepared. So for say Dr. Fatima Bio, they go do something out of the way, I would never believe that.
Okay, so that the question is now, do I ask you? This is the question I will ask you. Fonty, answer this question now. This is the question I will ask you. Now, I know say you know and discuss waiting at your role in terms of the, you know, your communication role with the First Lady, which I respect. And you just don't talk, say, you know, they ever go out of the way and talk thin way you're not supposed to talk. But we don't see two. And we don't see two occasions. Also, it say something where they force the president for keep him quiet publicly, where that one they look embarrassing. Now State House, and that's off the Bintu money.
And say something where force the president for waiting.
For keep him quiet. And we force the president for use mic and tell him say in only for certain things than they not public. They need for talk him in a private place. For example, it talk about the issue of the female the SLPP then conference where the woman conference where they go in like Kailan and they lay complaint publicly. The president tell and say, Madam First Lady, some of them things they are going for discuss them and you know the was you dirty close na public. It do them publicly. I get a recording. It do them again na Bintu money. Also they say a lot of people ignore him and the president is like they want for kill him, but the president forgive him something. The president again can meet him and tell and say, please calm down before you change the topic.
All right. The way how you put him, you make him appear as if he say something and a man make palaver in public, and which has never been the case. What waiting I be they tell you and waiting I go iterate back on that two issues here. So Dr. Fatima is well mentioned, line very strategic and deliberate. So if Fatima Bio go na public and say something, like I would stake my neck for say like in get right for say and get good reason basically why in say So if Fatima Bio go na public and talk about insecurity, now it's based on the fact say now public sector in the work for. So if in day na a particular situation, no, the public sector is not a secret society. If in they do a public work and then she feels threatened, tell me say Dr. Fatima Bio as a human being, as a public sector worker, ordinarily not get right for say. There could be political implications as to with regards to that. So there is also nothing wrong for make a man come and step in and say, "Oh, madam, it's okay. These issues we can discuss them behind closed doors." There is nothing wrong for make President Bio do that day. Just like how there is nothing wrong for make Dr. Fatima Bio also raise concerns about insecurity. There is nothing wrong for make Fatima Bio raise concerns as to waiting na the outcome as to how she was treated by
some of his statements and they make some of his statements that they make the public they see the president and then they ridicule him.
No, well, I don't ever know of any statements we Fatima Bio don't make.
Then two they now one example, and the other one are Potloko.
No, those ones are not examples. I beg to disagree. Those are not examples.
No, you know who say you know who determine waiting and your example.
Gentlemen, Mr. Pierre, please let me.
No, when the same way back, I think say you know go determine waiting the public think about waiting Dr. Fatima.
I not the determine, but rather at the time with waiting the public say.
Well, Mr. Depa tell you waiting me say. So
waiting, Mr. Titus.
Gentlemen,
Mr. Titus, please, just 1 minute, sir.
This language match, please. Let me come in. I have to leave you now, but let me part with this one word. I think it's a word of advice to my successor, as it were, well, not to my successor, because I'm a communications officer of the First Lady.
Yeah.
He was one of the people I managed. Mr. Miguel, communications officer. I was head of operations. I maybe handled the First Lady only affairs. So that gave me a lot of free will for deal with the First Lady and maybe influence what she says in public as we're having this match now. I'm left for now because I get something where I'm supposed to do at this particular time. So I'd like to say one thing.
Before you go, sir, before you go,
this is where we have the problem.
Let's just ask you one question, please. Let's pull it quickly from this First Lady thing. Let's ask you one question. Where now the title of the thing. According to this paper, it say stars have been all one salon people and say they're not for trust Madabio. Waiting that you take on that in just 2 minutes.
Oh, please, now that would be something difficult for you to drag me into. Strasser one, so for that, Strasser opinion, then a relationship with Madabio. Unfortunately, I was never in Sierra Leone when Strasser was president, or when Madabio overthrew Strasser, or when Madabio was vice to Strasser, or when Madabio and Strasser were having a pint of beer. Mm-hmm. So basically, I cannot comment on the two individuals at any point in time.
Okay.
The issue for we in Sierra Leone, I think it is disgraceful that at this moment in time, we have a president who prefers to sit within a situation where everybody they question one simple thing: release the RF forms of the elections. They'll see that you win fair and square. The electoral commissioner refused to do that, and in the presidency refused for order the electoral commissioner for release the RF forms. I think for begin announce say or for begin hide behind your finger say now the other parties then for release them forms because they don't get the mandate. Now the electoral commissioner get the mandate. What we know is that the other parties then they get copies of their own RF forms, but they cannot release their figures. It is the ECSL that should release it. So if the president they encourage the ECSL to sit on those forms, that means there's something wrong. I think the only way we go clear this thing is one of two ways. And I've said this: one, either they release the RF form so that everybody has a fair swag of looking at these figures once and for all. Figures not a lie. Look at the figures once and for all and determine who that win this election. Or we use these 5 years for really look at what it means to be a Sierra Leonean. We get a government of national unity. Everybody come together amongst one table and we look at everything wrong in our country, from the constitution right down to how they treat the Creoles in Sierra Leone. To the extent that people will come up and campaign by election, say, for pull Creole and come totally out of the electoral system, I think say that's wrong.
All right, thank you. That is just allow me to go. And we can get Fonty for let me wrap up the program with Fonty, quickly, waiting that you take on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. the big brother had already several issues. However, I want to start with the last one. Mm-hmm. We in the politics of Sierra Leone, we witnessed an era who say somebody they advocate say they for pull the Creole, they're completely out of politics now, salon, and they not ever happy. Now then with man that they call factual inaccuracy. I don't know which party or which individual we ever advocate in the politics, whether APC or SLPP or any position where somebody they go for, we say they for pull the Creole them completely from politics. I don't know within me big brother they talk about at all. However, make I come now to the several issues them way in the raise with regards to the outcome of the June 24, 2023 elections. As far as the June 24, 2023 elections are concerned, legally, where I say legally, as far as the laws of Sierra Leone are concerned, the elections is free, fair, and credible. And you know why I say that? The law make provision, anybody will vote, we think say the election of free, fair, and credible for going to court within 7 days. All of their concerns here, for example, talking about the publication of IRF form, talking about the transparency of the process, talking about the credibility of the process, talking about ballot stuffing or not, talking about overvoting or not. All of these things, not to things the way we they settle on Facebook, not to Facebook their own cases that is. The Constitution make clear provision. And we need for land, say Sierra Leone is not a social club. Even social clubs, the SSF get constitution where they guide them. The single Bible or Quran where they guide we in Sierra Leone, not the 1991 constitution. So if the 1991 constitution make clear provisions as to waiting at the procedures where we suppose for Fala, if we get any grievances or if we get any complaint or if we get any grumble with regards to the outcome of an election, and then that 7 days did not expire, where the constitution give rights to each and every Sierra Leonean who votes in the election for contest the election, and we not see a single Sierra Leonean out of the over 7 million Sierra Leoneans where we get, out of the over the some 3 million Sierra Leoneans who votes in this election, one no grab and contest that election day as prescribed by the law. So that they tell you, say, nobody no get any actual problem with the outcome of the election. It simply means, say, the election is fair, the election is credible, the election cannot be contested, because the law make provision as to how for contest that election day. So if people are not contest them, it simply they tell you, say, problem no day. So what you're hearing right now is that the social media and the court are two different bodies, now two different platforms. Social media, I can come like how I wake so this morning here, as you don't have me host, I feel free for come online and talk with him, I feel for talk. Nobody not will even get access for ask me say produce evidence, produce proof. I can just come and talk. It's my opinion, just like how Big Brother just tell you, just not say Strasser get right to an opinion as to what he think at that time about retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. And if you go ask him right now, he might get a different opinion about Maada Bio. So now, so everybody gets rights to an opinion as far as the social media is concerned. When it comes to the courts now, the courts, they deal with factual evidence. So if you say they overvote now the elections, you need for don't get evidence first for proof say overvoting take place before you even can talk them. So now that the courts they go ask you where the evidence. If you say they do ballot stuffing now this election, the courts they go ask you say where the evidence. If the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone suppose according to law for published disaggregated data, for publish waiting they call IRF form after the end of an election, and the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone agreed to them, you they go to court. The courts they go force the Electoral Commission legally for doing. You understand? Mm-hmm. So that is how you run a country. That is how you run a democratic state. That is how you run a civilized state. And all the one the way they all about democracy, where they all about transparency, where they all about rule of law. And so unfortunate that none of these people, no, they come and talk, say, democracy, they deal with processes and procedures. The rule of law, you get processes and procedures. There is what you call the national constitution. It is sad that all the one the way they cry for transparency right now and democracy, nor they look at the core, the pillar of transparency, the pillar of governance, the pillar of the rule of law. Then no they talk about them. All waiting they want for we want this state here so as like remand state, and we not go do that day. Sorry.
Waiting at the core, waiting at the pillar of transparency when you talk about
the rule of law. The Constitution of Sierra Leone, for example, it make provision for each and everything where they happen at this country also. And the drafters of the Constitution will be make one mistake why they say if you get any electoral grievance and for going to the court. Because this social media not going to solve problem, Ali, like how I talk. Nobody is moderating the social media.
The law or the Constitution, for example, in the election, tell me say the ECSL for just count now the different talent center and just public give results the way people are not watch or know what they happen with the result when they tally.
Sorry.
Any part that the law say when ECSL they do a final tabulation where they tally and they no more for just sit down and count and give figures, nobody know for noting within the actual figure reflect.
No law no give ECSL that power.
But in the case of this, we see say ECSL do that, right?
No, ECSL not do that, sir.
So who that exactly been they part of they be watch waiting and they do? Nobody.
Yes, all all the political players, we are part of the process from
You mean
voting to tabulation.
The tabulation process?
The tabulation, the concern where they raise, maybe you know the area and clear it, because for that I say the noise that the social media and
tell me the concern. Let you,
so the concern, the actual concern where they raise is not that they were not there. Now something that they ask for. They ask for two things there. One, the way how they build that tally center the tally centers them, there is a screen in between where they separate the staff them from the observers. And also if you don't do all this while, not to matter you or Koneka build that tally center, they not to they put that screen there or any of the things there. Then also we don't they run all we elections them. The observer they did at their own side, and then the staff that they did at the other side, and now for good reason. And just feel like how we do in media offices them. Like you, the moderator, who say you the day, in different from the side, who say the guests the day. And now for a very good reason that they do that, for letting not obstruct you. Because like I'm here, you not party so, outside of any other thing. If I get access for the near you, Ali, I get the tendency for the mass you foot so. For say, brad, certain question the way they ask me, so now ask me. So for avoid all that, they know for ambog you, and that make they do their separation there. And I saw in bidon day. So now, waiting the APC, for example, be they ask for now for change the rules of the game in the middle of an election. During the time of counting, you begin accelerate change the rule of the game. We all remember say 2 days to the election, the APC go public and talk say this election a manual with the do a jarang, na cons to cons, this and that. Blah blah. We all know saying a manual election. So how now where we reach now by the counting, you begin say we say who for use projector. Where if you are use projector, if you are use projector, if you are use just give me 60 seconds. I beg. I don't know if you give me that. I just stand up on this. If you are use projector, we all know the technology is where they be and dandy. You know the able can do a matter around that time. So if and you begin say no, the pooling agents there supposed for they inside who side the work command they you know they go dictate to NEC to ECSL how they're supposed for do their work. So now that transparency that they all about to it's not that they were not in the room. They were in the room and transparent glass their day. If anybody want for small good figure or and the RRF forms there so now that may put some of who they ask them now say since they don't refuse for bona court, let them publish by their own figures them were different from the NEC figures. Because they all get their figures here, so all of the polling stations them after we they don't count down, they give it all. APC gets all the figures them. SLPP gets all the figures them. So if you say what NEC puts out different from what you get, you put out your own. We wanna all sign up to, we APC sign up to, we SLPP sign up to, we the observers they sign up to.
Let ask you this question. This could be the last question. I see the president actually call for lay people and come and join them for work. How sincere in terms of calling the other people and for let them come work together as a nation. How sincere are ready for unite the country again with the opposition and any other person?
I think that is the most sincere call I believe deep inside my heart as a person, take me out of government. Where I believe deep inside my heart as a person, say this had been one of the most sincere calls them where retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio don't make. Because you know why?
Why?
Retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio realize say in one grain not able to we need everybody. There is a good reason why we not get single how do they call a one party state. We need all of their political parties there so for able to push this country before. So me just why use this platform for reiterate that call of retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. Then we not take all of the arguments they are so personal. Then we not take all of the debates they are so personal. Then we all just come together and unite this country because this election president.
You know say whatever Maada Bio talk right now, na policy statement. Whatever any top member of the government talk na policy statement, right?
Yes, of course.
Good. So if you see us in terms of uniting people, for open your hand for you work with the opposition and get free, fair, and every other thing transparently done, yeah? If you as the president, for example, they say still at this time when we call people and for let them come together, they say the opposition they're hopeless, they're not good for themselves, they're not able, they're not yet any better thing for offer to this country at this time. where politics don't done. And then the chairman for the SLPP, they say they no go ever hand over power to the opposition because they go put things in place where go make, even if not Chris Man and put, it go win. You think say that what they have to go cement the kind unity, the kind peace where we want, especially now that the election just done and people they think of positive words them for bringing people in together?
If we say we they discuss their words that they they ascribe to the leaders them, we go take a whole day now.
No, just use few minutes
because,
to talk about
yes. So one thing where I just want to tell you, there is something called opinions also, and where each and every Sierra Leonean is entitled to. There is actually a thin line.
Opinion on a policy statement.
At the camp, sir, there is actually a thin line between opinions and policy statements.
So I agree with you.
However, any statement where somebody make, where say, just for example, like where the APC they command right now, so say IG for resign, this for resign, we for do election back in 6 months. Where say no law no support than the way that they talk so. Just let them talk about Dande. So again, at a time like this, Usai the president, they give an olive branch. That's the highest office in the land. That's the highest, the first gentleman in the land. Don't give an olive branch. Say you can come. If you want to work with me, I am ready to work with you. There is nothing also wrong for make the president say, but if you choose at the end of the day, say after all the things there where I don't say make you come, make we can work. You still don't want to work with me. I'm not able to force you. You will continue for the side. There is nothing wrong with that, Ali. You don't expect the president for can't hold people
personal. Okay, let's use me as an example. I'm not going to use you. For example, me and my wife don't get some issue. Yeah, and then when the time for settle the thing, then boom, I come out back with one other thing. Say, but who you say not some kind of free person this? He actually they settle the problem.
Case everybody they talk with in want to talk.
No,
now the old man defend right.
No,
listen.
You know the first thing I ask you, I say, whatever matter be in chairman talk, the policy statement you say yes, and now you defend the policy to against the opinion.
What I am saying is that in a conflict, people would say things. People will say things were correct. People would say things were wrong. And we all as mortal man them susceptible.
The word way matter be in principle talk wrong.
I would say the same things, and because I don't believe saying wrong.
So waiting them talk is correct.
Incorrect.
For say the opposition hopeless, for say they not will ever hand over power give them incorrect.
Well, I don't know about the hopeless part. I know
no, I didn't tell you waiting at the word. You say whatever.
But for make somebody talk say, we go put mechanisms in place for ensure say you remain in opposition. What do you wrong with that?
Say the opposition hopeless.
Well, I cannot comment on Dande because I know and I don't know the context.
But what you that communication man at State House and you did who said the president they talk? With all of them gathering there, so whether the old people and they
I know you read that statement they hate, and I don't know the context at which in talk. And until I hear and know the context. Now, at which context we be the talker? We mentioned that.
People they not get nothing for offer. They're hopeless. You know.
So somebody will not get nothing for offer. So would it be wrong? Would it be wrong for saying a hopeless person?
Okay.
Tell me.
At this time,
somebody will not get nothing for offer. If you don't conclude, say this person not gets nothing for offer, and the evidence abound, is it wrong?
What thing I want from you now, for just tell me if waiting the president say a right or a wrong.
But the president is not wrong. We all don't see the records of the APC. We all don't see the records of the APC in the past and currently. So everybody knows that the APC is in an hopeless situation. What's wrong with that?
New direction, meaning in order to do anything where the APC don't do. But you tell me now, say because of the record of the APC, now the president they follow suit.
Would I say the president they follow suit
we all know the record of APC?
Yeah, so we all know the record, and that record they easy for a judge say the APC is in a hopeless state. Now that is what I'm saying. I know they tell you say, but yourself, how mad be go for Lamakata APC hashtag for lie. Let God not do that. They to Salon. I beg.
Okay. All right. Abdul Fonti Kabia. You know
It's my name still.
Now that expect for you. All right, thank you very much for joining me inside the program today. For let me talk about things then. You know, of course, we the engagement not done it too. We get for the go.
I be wish big brother no be get side.
Yes, if you don't talk before this time,
I was say I be wish big brother no one away. If you for be there,
no, I want to take that day.
No, I know, no, now they talk. Just listen. I say if in be day,
no,
I for be don't put that to and say
you always want to
say in our one, but because you know day, I wish say not be get other side for go.
No, the first one you can talk now, you can make a one for ask you question for clarify the thing. But now you say one away, then later you want for Abdul Fonti Kabia is your name.
Still.
So please, thank you very much and get seated.
Thank you, sir.
All right. That's not Abdul Fonti Kabia who joined me inside the program today in the office of the First Lady, the office of the President. Well, the office of the First Lady, not the office of the President. In a communication, strategist. I don't know if I call myself. It in at the office of the President, and it basically don't they talk about several things that we don't do. I know say some of the things that we talk, you like them, some of you there, you don't like them. Well, that's not your opinion inside the program, and all of what he say, he go take responsibility for that because what did he say in your opinion? Thank you very much for joining me inside the program. Don't forget for like and share the program. Yeah, my name is Nasembe Pierre, the freedom fighter. Until then, we'll get for meet again. I also say God bless we country Sierra Leone, where we call we are. I'm out. Get yourself a very good day. We love you all so much. Okay, catch you again, Annette. Another fresh edition of a program we'll call We Are.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the Wahala we had, I just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different stories